On the surface, these are just two simple stories about vegetable sellers. But when you look a little closer, their struggles, well, they reveal something really profound about character, hardship, and the strange, powerful way kindness seems to find its way back to us. So, let's dive in.
And this one line, this is really our starting point. It's spoken by one of the sellers we're about to meet, and it just perfectly captures the raw, driving force behind their entire struggle. You see, this isn't just about being cold. It's about what you're willing to endure for the people you love.
All right, Section 1, Two Tales of Hardship. Our story unfolds in the freezing cold of a city, and this is where we meet Vikas and Gomti. They both sell vegetables, but really, they're locked in a daily battle against poverty, trying to provide for their families against some truly impossible odds. And here you can see just how that weight of poverty presses down on them differently. For Vikas, it's so physical. The cold tin hut, the one old blanket for his whole family, an empty stove with no wood. But for Gomti, it's this crushing weight of responsibility. Her husband is sick, he can't work, so she is the sole provider for 3 kids, waking up at 5 a.m. every single day just to try and keep her family afloat.
And this number, look at that, 10 rupees. That is everything Vikas has to his name. It's all he has to start his day, to buy vegetables to try and sell. I mean, this isn't just a small amount of money. It's the razor's edge between his family eating dinner or going hungry that night. So what does he do? He goes to a wholesaler and begs for some vegetables on credit. And this is the response he gets. It's just this brutal reminder that in his world, there's no safety net. No one's going to take a chance on him. His desperation is just met with total, cold indifference. Which brings us to a huge question, right? When everything seems hopeless, when the world is telling you no, what do you do? This is where we see a true test of their inner strength, a real test of character. So Vikas's day just becomes this frustrating cycle of small hopes followed by these crushing disappointments. He gets a lucky break. An old farmer gives him vegetables on credit. But then the streets are empty because it's freezing. A potential customer literally scoffs at his prices. Even a policeman who shows him a little bit of mercy doesn't change the hard reality. He's made almost no money. And this is his moment of just utter despair. After a full day of shivering in the cold, with almost no sales to show for it, he looks up and asks this absolutely heartbreaking question. He's not just worried about himself, he's picturing his kids going to bed hungry again. And then, just when it seems like all hope is lost, somebody finally pays attention. A local restaurant owner, a dhaba owner, notices that Vikas is the only vendor still out there in the freezing cold. And that simple act of just noticing him, well, that's about to change everything. Okay, so let's turn to Gomti now. Vikas's story is about being on the receiving end of a crucial act of kindness. But Gomti's story shows us the other side of that coin. What happens when you're the one who gives it? She's about to set a chain of events in motion that she could never, ever have predicted. It all begins with a simple promise. A regular customer of hers, Megha, becomes pregnant and can't come to the market anymore. So Gomti makes an offer. Even with her own exhausting schedule, she says, "Don't worry, I'll deliver the vegetables to your home every day." It's just a small act, but it comes from a place of real compassion. And this is where we really see her character shine. There's a massive rainstorm, the streets are flooding, and any other vendor would just stay home. But Gomti's first thought is her promise to Megha. So she wades through the flooded streets, gets to Megha's house, and finds her in labor with no way to get help. Without a second thought, Gomti abandons her own cart, her own livelihood, to find a rickshaw and get Megha to the hospital. She puts a near stranger's life completely above her own. So, how does this all pay off? After all the struggle, after these incredible tests of character, where do their stories end up? Well, this is where we see perseverance and virtue get rewarded in the most fitting and honestly unexpected ways. So, what happened with Vikas and that restaurant owner? Well, the owner asks him, "How can you possibly stand this cold?" And Vikas gives that incredible reply from the beginning. A child's hunger is greater than the cold. And that raw honesty, it moves the man so deeply that he buys every single vegetable Vikas has and offers him a permanent deal to supply his restaurant. Just like that, his life is changed.
But just as Vikas's story turns for the better, Gomti's takes this absolutely devastating nosedive. While she's at the hospital helping Mega, someone steals her cart and all her vegetables. Her act of pure selflessness has seemingly cost her everything she owns. And for a second, you have to ask yourself, does no good deed go unpunished? And this is where the story finds its beautiful balance. When Mega's husband finds out what Gomti sacrificed for his wife and baby, he offers her something far greater than what she lost: a vacant shop, rent-free. The rewards they each get are just so fitting. Vikas's perseverance earns him stability, a steady customer, a warm blanket. Gomti's selflessness earns her an opportunity, a permanent shop that allows her business to grow and a new life to begin. Each reward is a perfect mirror of their character.
So what do we learn from these two journeys? What's the shared lesson at the very heart of both of these stories?
You know, the core message here is really powerful. It shows that true wealth has nothing to do with money. It's measured by the strength of your character. Vikas's story teaches us that pushing through that despair, that's what builds resilience, and that honesty and hard work don't go unnoticed forever. And maybe the biggest lesson of all is that a single act of kindness, whether you're giving it or receiving it, can completely change the course of a life. And it almost always comes from where you least expect it. And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. These stories show this endless cycle of kindness, and all of us have a part to play in it. The only question is, at any given moment, are we the helper, or are we the one who needs help? And more importantly, are we ready to step into that role, whichever it is?